What's up, everybody? We're getting right into it today. The markets are bleeding. Is this the opportunity that we were looking for? I think we got to look at some of these setups because it is looking absolutely magnificent for those that are prepared. So everybody right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. And you know what? Go ahead and think about something you're grateful for today. Let's get some good vibes, good moves, good. Let's take care of this because these charts are providing us opportunity. If we can see it, let's absolutely crush this market today and not get crushed by it. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy. My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the show. Before we get into this, let's throw a like, let's throw a subscription, let's throw ding that bell right now because the markets are doing what we've been hoping for. And if you're feeling any different from that, then you're not looking at this in the right way to take advantage of opportunity when it presents itself, because right now, nothing has changed. When we see what's going on here, looking at this market, all we're seeing is upward price action, ETF sell off initially, and then that massive move to the upside. And then what do we get? Massive inverted head and shoulders still in play. We see a little bit of a money flow flowing out right now, but we got some really magnificent things to be looking at in this chart. So let's go ahead and get down to it on the 4 hour. We talked about this on June 5th. Back here, let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Where's my mouse? There we go. Moving this out of the way. Let's see. June 5th, all the way right over here. June 5th, when the price action was pushing up, I was showing you all this price target down here. And what happened? Oh, no, it's not going to happen, up only. And then look, we held, rejected, come down, trapped to the upside, bounced down, and now we are flushing out to the downside. What does this mean for price action? Where are we going? We got tips. Official Akash watching from Nepal. Shout out to you. We can see this right here. I got a new thing where I can pull up your tweets and all kinds of stuff. I got a new computer as well. So I spent about 7 hours yesterday getting this all done so we could actually, basically not have any more of those glitches on the screen, where stuff was locking up and so on and so forth. But we got a lot to talk about there. There's going to be a lot more here in a moment. So everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Are we going to? Let me know right now. Throw a 1 in chat if you think we're going to come down and touch this next target down here at 63.4. Or do you think we're going to find basically this low, basically put in here and we get a rebound from here? Throw a 2 if you think we're currently regionally at the low. Throw a 1 if you think we're getting down to 63,000. Shout out Maybe a Bandy. How you doing? Token Temptress, Falco, Alex Green, Man in Meta, Alexander G. We got all the regular suspects, all the usual suspects in the house. But let's continue on. Let's talk about some of these things that we want to talk about today because markets are providing us ultimately some incredible opportunity right now. Look at these charts. Bitcoin 2017 fractal still on track. The sweep below the 50 moving average has been shallower so far with the April 2021 high providing additional support. So this is what we're looking at. This is 2017. You see this move below, we're going to come back up. Now come back test with the sweep low and then this continuation of the upside. This is what we're trying not to make. We're trying to make sure we don't get absolutely pushed out of this market before this happens because we're seeing these moves which are meant to trigger your emotions. Look at where we're at right now, 2021 high. We pushed up here to $74,000, came down, came back up, rejected, came down, came back up, rejected, came down, keep committing people to going short over and over again, only to wreck them, pushing up. Now look at this. We're getting a little bit of a sweep low. And currently, obviously, we're down below this right now, down here in this $65,000 range. This has rolled over a little bit more. But for the most part, this is still intact. We need to make sure that we do not succumb to the emotions of the moment. We want to look at the data. Shout out to Tater, Nicole Minnis Tater. I see you. We also got sufficient enough. We got everybody here in the house. Big love to everybody. I am excited about this price action. Are you excited about this price action? If you're not, again, you are looking at you're basically tuned into your emotions of the moment, wanting it to go up right now rather than looking at the data suggesting you have opportunity here. And if you don't have any dry powder on the sideline, let that be a lesson for the future. Always have some dry powder on the sideline or capital flow in your life that you can always attribute. And if not, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up, learn from it, but also realize right now might just be a moment that you are patient. Patience is a virtue in markets. It will make the difference of being wealthy or remaining broke. And that's what we're here for, to change our lives. And I hope all of you are in the right frame of mind to do that. And if you mess up, everything in life isn't about just doing things perfectly. It's about figuring out when you are off track, when you're outside. It's not just markets, it's your life, it's relationships, it's health, it's your diet, it's exercise, it's, mastering guitar or whatever you're doing. When you fall off the path, how quick can you get back on it? And right now, if you fell off the path, let's get back on it together. Let's take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. It's not the end of the market because we're seeing a little bit of downside price action. It is opportunity. And when we see what we're going on right here, Rect Capital says Bitcoin will retrace deep enough to convince you that the bull market is over, and then it will resume its uptrend. This is what the market is doing right now. This happens every cycle regularly. Remember, when we come back over here to the charts, we come out here to the 3-day chart. Actually, let's go to the daily chart. Double click here. I'm going to double click on this. Remember, just a reminder, if you have a bunch of indicators on your screen, double click on the chart. You'll minimize them. You want them back? Double click on the chart again. So let's double click on the chart and just remind ourselves that back here, there were 8 instances of 26 to 40% drops on the way up from where was that low? All the way down here at $198. And what do we see? We see price action push all the way up here from 198 to 19,900. And there was all of these dips along the way, 30%, another 30, almost 40%. And then we have another, look at that quick washout, 36%. And what do we see again? 32%. Then what do we see here? It's just on and on and on, shaking everybody without a strategy off this market. 39%. And then again, on the way up, almost to the top, we had another 26, 20, 29%. And then from this washout, you had another move, 236%. There's ways to make money in this market. Unfortunately, everybody tries to trade and they don't actually basically practically apply a strategy. They're practically getting destroyed by their emotions of the moment. And so what do we see where we're at right now? We've had a couple 20% moves to the downside. If we double click on this, it puts it in auto mode. We can see where we're at right now. What is the dip? What level are we at? That would be about a 12% move to the downside currently from this top. Now, if we do it from the current top, let's see where we're at here. The most recent, it's only about 10% move to the downside. Why is anybody worried? What reason do we have to be worried right now? What I see right now is just right now, when I see this market, I see this. David Lee Luthen, let's go. These are opportunity moments. Now, this is not guaranteed to just stop here and reverse to the upside, and it's also not guaranteed to break down from here. This very well could chop sideways all the way into August. And that would actually be the most painful than this dropping, because people are going to try to ape in long to catch the long and then get scared and short and go down. No, let's not do that. Let's trade with absolute simplicity. And that means to remove your damn emotions from this. If you can remove your emotions, you can remove the thing that hijacks you losing money in this market. Now, coming back over, we got 248 people in the room. Every single one of you, hit that like button, show some love, subscribe, join us here in the family. We got some charts to cover today, and we are about to get into it. So let's continue on. So again, once the market stops having those emotions is when it absolutely rockets to the upside. Now we look here, 443 million liquidated from just Bitcoin market in the past 24 hours. Flushing out people that are being jackasses. That's what this is about. Are you a jackass? No, then stop acting like one. If you're losing money right now, and I don't mean your portfolio's down, That's not losing money. Losing money is taking a position and then selling because you're scared because it goes down. And you take that position, you basically take a loss. Basically, you're closing out a trade in a loss. That's when you lose money. I'm down right now on that alt portfolio I'm sharing with you all, but we're riding through it. I'm adding little bits, DCAing along the way. And when I can't, great. Then I sit on my hands. And we can see with what's going on right now with the stock market, this is giving me confidence. This is a bullish divergence right now. When you look at basically capital is flowing in to markets. In this case, it's just not Bitcoin right now. Well, why would that be? There's a number of different reasons why that would be, but this is giving me confidence that the market is not saying we don't want to invest. There's just other things that impact Bitcoin that don't impact those traditional markets, like miners. Remember, we just had the halving. Everybody thinks we had the halving. It's all up from here. No, I've shared this with you time and time again. On April 19th, I showed you that chart showing right here. If we come over here to halving progress, and we actually not halving progress, sorry, halving cycle. We pull this up. Halving cycle will show you right here. This period of time doesn't look very long. This period of time could be anywhere from 40 to 160, 150 days. Look at where we're at. Price action is just going sideways right there. What are we worried about? This was a much smaller market. This is 2013, 2011 into 2013. The market cap was minuscule. So of course it moved a hell of a lot faster. These are more likely related to something similar that we'll see this cycle. And what do we see? Price action sideways on both of these at equal distances before the price action really started moving to the upside. So what we're seeing right now is just a shakeout of impatience. That's all we're seeing. So let's calm down a little bit. Let's let this, you know what I mean? Because Crypto Brad Fox, as he says, this is bullish. This is not bearish. Could there be a further washout? Yes, and that means there will be better opportunity. So let's not get beside ourselves. Now, when we see right here, TXMC said, I said I didn't expect the same drop as last summer. Remember yesterday I covered that period of time, and this period of time that I was talking about was essentially right here. This period of time right here that was almost 220 days of price action. Price action moving to the upside. I mean, look at this move. This move, if we come over here and measure this out, this move was a 56% move to the upside. And then what do we get? We got a 20% move to the downside, and then another 30% move to the upside, and then another 20% move to the downside, shaking everybody that doesn't deserve the profits off the charts. That's what these moves are doing. So you got to ask yourself right now, do you deserve these profits? And if you're scared right now, you're on the edge of not deserving them. So let's be mindful of what this market does on a regular basis so it's not shocking. So it doesn't, just shake us out of this market. And this is exactly what he's talking about. And I stand by that, talking about the chop that we saw last summer. But it's wildly coincidental that we're bleeding at the same time location in the fractal Song of Summer, isn't it? But he's showing the fractal. He took that and dragged it over, bar copying. We can see where the lighter color is what we're currently doing. This was last summer. This move right here was this move right here. So we're seeing the same thing. And people are acting like, oh, we're not moving fast. We're moving so slow. Well, let's go over to Kevin Svensson. Again, if you guys aren't following this fine young gentleman here, he's been sharing crypto insights and charts. He taught me a lot of what I know early on back in 2018, applying what I knew from traditional assets to crypto. And then he took it a step further. So I'm happy that he and I are coordinating on doing some content together, but he shared this right here. Where's it at? Every single time summer sentiment is bad, we are pulling another higher low with the macro uptrend. And somehow every time people convince themselves that it's over. And then this was the other one. Where is it at? He shared it. I don't remember where it is, but there was a chart. Is this it? Here we are. In the past cycles, it took 30 to 40 weeks after halving for Bitcoin to begin trending above the all-time high. I said 40 to 160 days, right? That was just price action moving up. Remember, it took several weeks and months for us to get to the previous all-time high. We did that this cycle before the halving. So this is what he's referencing here. But then institutional demand and ETF anticipation pushed Bitcoin's price up faster than normal. Believe it or not, we're still early in this cycle. This is what he's talking about. Previous all-time high. You see, this is a halving. We are well below it. And then price pushed up. We consolidated and then launched. Well, we are doing this move right here across where the halving is. So we are still ahead of schedule, if there is a schedule even. You know what I'm saying? Crypto Crank said, Kelly, I'm expecting a 30 to 40% pullback, 38 to 48 to 44K. Could easily happen, dude. Look at the chart. Would be best thing for crypto. Well, let's look at that. Kevin Svensson, shout out in the chat right now. Big love to my boy. Yeah, he shares such great content. He shares such good content. I was watching Ivan on Tech this morning, and Ivan on Tech was quoting Kevin Svensson himself as well. So, Kevin, we're going to have to get you back on here in the live stream anytime you want, brother. Yeah, so we're seeing this right here, and we're losing our minds because the price is, it's not even pulling back. If you zoom out on this chart, let's go ahead to a cleaner chart. If we look at this, this is just up. This is an uptrend. What trend is this? It's up, up, up. We're not seeing anything that's challenging, even testing these previous range highs. Nowhere near testing these previous basically lows, right? The first one that we could even consider potentially is maybe this low here if we lose that. But as we're looking at this, let's look at the BLX, the aggregate of basically most of the crypto charts out there. Look, it's just a giant bullpen it. You could also draw this differently. You could look at this, for instance, like a parallel channel or some sort of channel. Where's a parallel channel? Boom. So let's draw this across like this, pull this up and drag this down. We get a little deviation out below. There's nothing bearish about what we're seeing right now. People are going, oh my God, it's crashing. And I hate that I have to, and I don't have to, but I hate that I have to essentially use words in the titles on YouTube videos for people, because you have to write the things people are thinking. But this is no crash. If we lose, I would say a crash would happen effectively if we lost about this level right here, 52.7, 53,000, this zone right here. We just do option J, get a line right there. Why? Because we have this consolidation point right there. We can actually draw a bit more of a region right here to do a little box. That is where I start getting worried. Now, this would also mean if we come down to this level, we would also be testing. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go to the daily. So the blue line here is the 200-day moving average. Let's just double check. Yeah, red, 200-day moving average. So we have to realize we have a lot of different moving parts within this market now with different types of market participants. Now, one could argue that some of the on-chain metrics that we've been using in previous cycles may start to change or give different signal now, because I guarantee you 90% of people that are institutional traders, ETF, smart money, big money, all these people that are moving from TradFi in, they're not looking at this short-term holder cost basis. They're looking at traditional indicators they've been using for the last 20, 30, 50 years. In this case, using moving averages. And so as we sit right now, look at this coiling of all these moving averages right here. We're coming right up into a zone, and look at all this volume right here. All this right here is called a VRVP or VPVR, depending on how you want to use acronym. This shows how much volume was traded at these various price levels. As you can see, there's not much in this zone. The next level down, if we lose this basically 62.7 zone on a volume basis, the next level is kind of, the shelf is right here perfectly where we have this next little rise in volume here at the $51,000 to $53,000 level. But this would not only mark coming down here being a little scary, this would also represent the price action coming all the way down below the 200-day moving average. So things are still looking incredibly bullish right now. And in fact, what I would look at this as, until we actually basically close a daily candle below the the 50 and the 100 moving averages. So this is what we see. We have the 21, the 50, and the 100. So you can see right here, this is the 21, and this is the 50. 21, 50, 100. Yellow is a 50, blue 100. And as we sit right now, we're still sitting right here in this zone. There's nothing at this moment to worry about. That doesn't mean that we don't plan for both downside and upside price action. This is why last week when I'm looking at all this, let's pull up just the traditional indicators I typically use on here, the BitLab trading stack. What we're seeing when we look at this, actually, where's that chart? It's this one right here. I drew this out when price action was, you can have patterns within patterns. So as we have this descending level of resistance, we had basically a sort of a rising wedge. Okay, Kelly, it's not a rising wedge. Fine. Let's say it's a rising channel. Great. What you just argued is irrelevant because a rising channel and a rising wedge are going to provide you the same signal. Likely move to the downside. What do we see? On June 5th, we came up into the zone. I was talking about this level because of this data right here. Looking at this, let's see June 5th. Coming right here, June 5th, June 6th, we had a rising level of aggregated premium, meaning more people are going long. And in addition to that, there was an increased amount of leverage positions coming up, and they were going long. This was telling me that we would likely have a breakdown. And so what do? Let's form a trend line. Boom. And what we do? We lost it, rejected, came down right into the zone that I marked out on that chart. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not just looking at lines, drawing pretty patterns. I'm looking at the data underlying. So does that mean that was a bearish call? No, we have to understand what time frame we're looking at across multiple different basically cycles, because you have to remember when you're looking at this, for instance, on the 2-week chart, okay, a bear cycle, accumulation, bull market, bear market, bull market, bear market. Or you can zoom out and say, this has been one big bull market. Because how different is this from looking, for instance, let's look at it zoomed in. Let's go to the 3-day. Let's go back to 2017. Okay, let's look at this. This is the same thing zoomed in, right? So we've only ever been in a bull market when you stop zooming in on everything. Now, everybody, all of us, me included, we want to figure out how we can navigate this market and make the money, make us more money, but we get so focused on that, we just hand our freaking money to somebody else as a better strategy. And I don't want you guys to do that. I want you to make money, take advantage of the market. But the number one error in all of this is that all of us let our emotions circumvent the data that's before us. So what do we do right now? Let's continue on. We got a couple more charts to go in through here, and then we're going to dive into some TA. We got some stuff to break down, but look at this. This cycle is similar to 2016, but also 2021, right? It's going to rhyme with different aspects of different cycles, but this is a new cycle. We can look at those things as a reference, but all things are going to be tied to the type of data and the type of interaction with the market we have. We have larger market caps for a lot of these different projects. Some projects are new, right? So we have this rotation of capital and rotation of technology and rotation of interest and narrative and regulation. So we have to pay attention. This could be different. It could be the same. We have to take this one day at a time. Altcoins are at the midline in the ultimate RSI. In 2016, 2021, we have seen the strong runs for the altcoins after that. So what is he looking at? He's looking at basically the 50% line, especially when you're looking at the weekly, daily, but then also weekly. When the RSI is above that 50 line, above the center line, you can sometimes see the price action come back to test it. And this is essentially, boom, look at that. That marked the move up. Came back to test it. Boom, that marked the move up. Where do we see right now? We're coming down to test that line. What does it mean? Is it scary? Think of it this way. Rather than be worried about the price action pulling back, ask what function may this be serving in this market cycle? In this case, when you see data signals, the RSI, the MACD, the momentum, whatever indicators you're using, when things get very overheated, just like price goes up, then it comes down, then it goes up. Same thing with RSI. You'll get a lot of strength, then you'll get a reduction in strength. Just like Bollinger Bands, you get a lot of volatility, then you have a compression as volatility basically consolidates. And then once it pinches back again, then you have that rotation back into more volatility. So what we're seeing right now, looking at this chart, is that we are currently, especially with where we're at in the market cycle, this is very much more similar to this. What we're seeing is the strength signals are resetting. You pull the car over on the freeway to get some gas and grab a bite. That's all this market is doing right now. That's my perception of what's going on. Of course, I could be wrong as the day is long, but This is what I'm seeing right now. If you agree with that, let me know. Drop a 1 in the live chat right now. If you think this is just a reset before higher, drop a 2 in chat if you think this is something that is indicating something bigger is coming. Now we got 264 people in the room, 74 likes. Big love to every single one of you that's here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's continue on and looking at some of these other charts, because it's for me, that's all bullish. There's a chance Bitcoin bottom is in with this with this SFP. Below is what I'm watching for now. Yes, we could still technically go lower in the dream long. What does he mean by dream? It may not get there. This would be a great opportunity if it gets down in here. And by the way, if you guys didn't watch that interview I did with Credible Crypto here on BitLab Academy about a month or two ago, definitely tune into that. It was a great one. It's over here. If you come over to BitLab Academy, go to videos. Actually, just go to home. You can scroll down right here into Daily Alpha, and it will be basically in here. Scroll back there. It's going to be somewhere in there. Yeah, just go ahead and check that out. Kind of lost my train of thought there. But this is, look, just range bound. Boom, boom, boom. Deviation down. What move are we going to get in here? Let's pay attention. Let's be adaptable right now so we don't mess ourselves up for taking advantage of what's coming in the near future. The 100-day EMA, what did I just bring up on the chart a second ago, has provided support many times before, marking 3 local bottoms since November 2023. We currently have major high time frame support assisting as well. So it's that midterm, almost macro trend that we're in. The trend is your friend until it ends. No reason to flip bearish here. Let's go ahead and close that out. Oops. I just closed one of my windows. I didn't want to do that. It's all good. Market cycle. The complete timeline is bearish. Everybody's, oh my God. That means it's about time. Don't miss this once in a lifetime opportunity. This is that macro look that we're looking at. Altcoins setting up. Don't feel like this. This feeling tends to mark the bottom or near it. This is somebody looking at the charts. Hey, how you doing? You winning? It's just like, oh, seppuku no katana kudasai. If you know what that means, and that's essentially what he's doing right there. But this is when you're getting these heightened emotions that are prevalent in the different time frames. Especially crypto Twitter and social media places, tends to mark best opportunity. That does not mean we can't have a flash a little bit further down, but this is one of the things everybody needs to be paying attention to. One of the best Bitcoin buy signals this market gives us is close. Hash ribbons cut to the core. All right. So what is he showing? This is hash ribbons, the strength of the Bitcoin network. How many are online? How many are competing to mine? Well, we just had the halving. Okay. We just had the halving. And what happens after the halving? Miners have less revenue. That doesn't immediately affect them, but then all of a sudden, just like us, we've lost people that have lost jobs or lost income streams. Some people are smart enough to change their budget immediately, but typically none of us are that smart. And so you spend a little more than you should because you think capital is going to come back in quicker than it ends up happening. And then it's like, all of a sudden it's like, oh man, now I can't go out to eat. I got to you're pinching nickels. You're getting that ramen out. This is essentially what you're seeing with miners right now. You're getting that little bit of capitulation. Well, look at what we saw right here. FTX collapse, miner capitulation, and then boom, market up. So let's see, rather than looking in the bear market or the top of the market, let's see right here. Again, this was an anomaly. This was a global economic shutdown. But then again, right here, boom, pop, and then the market moves up, chop people out, big move up, higher low on this pullback. We get a little bit of capitulation, and then the market sends. So this is not the end of the road. It's just part of the process. When Bitcoin falls below production costs for the inefficient miners, they're forced to switch off their machines. They puke their Bitcoin to cover costs. They have to sell some of those Bitcoin they've been holding, and price goes sideways. This has followed every halving like clockwork. Okay, well, it's number 3. In 2020, price went sideways 160 days, same as in 2016. Does not necessarily mean a sideways summer. When hash rate reverts, hash ribbons will print one of the most historically reliable Bitcoin buy signals ever seen. So we're setting up. Sometimes the best setup take some time to acknowledge it, be like, have your eyes out for it, acknowledge it. Not that it's happening in this moment, but your eyes were primed to see it, your charts, your strat, the awareness of it. So then when it happens, you're not just jumping on a bandwagon, you're already set. So are you not entertained? This is what this sets up. All these people being fearful, this sets up $1.8 billion of Bitcoin shorts will be liquidated at 70K. And Saylor is about to buy $700 million of Bitcoin. They just, I think it got confirmed last night. They finished their convertible offering or whatever. So we're seeing bullishness and what's going on in these charts. We're got some great levels to look at here in just a moment. So everybody, make sure you are you strapped in. Let me just go ahead. Camera switcher, scenes. I don't know where. I just basically I got a new computer and I just had to reset everything up, and I accidentally closed something I need to have open, but it's all good. It don't matter. Yeah. So looking at this, every Bitcoin buyer means there was a seller. Remember that. If you're buying, somebody's selling to you. If you're selling, somebody's buying from you. That's why when you look at these market cycles and you see this right here, somebody bought here for the price to go there. And then somebody sold here for somebody to be able to buy that wonderful buy. So that's the dichotomy. That's a perfect dichotomy of the different type of traders that are in this market. People that are buying hype and people that are buying data and conviction. Are you a conviction buyer? Throw a 1 in chat if you are a conviction buyer. Throw a 2 in chat if you're trying to get there. Throw a 3 in chat if you got no freaking idea what's going on and that's why you're here. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together, man. I want you all to win. The more of you all win, the more all of us win, because it breeds better knowledge of the space, but also you become your own Bitcoin and crypto missionary to your friends and family. So, I'm so bullish about all this, everything going on right now. It's like, it's not even funny. So paper hands are selling, diamond hands are buying, whales are accumulating the most they've ever accumulated. Look at this. Look at the previous cycles. This is, what is this, accumulation for ants? No. Look at this. This is just, I mean, this is the waking up. This is the epiphany of big money starting to get it, even coming in here to the top. And then look at where we're at now. Prices accumulating in previous all-time high, and we're only getting increasing levels of accumulation into addresses that have historically, when they bought, they've held. That's why this data metric is important. This is conviction buying in the market right now. This isn't even just whales. This is just conviction addresses. This is what we want to pay attention to. Now we see this right here as well. 12,700 Bitcoin were sent to accumulation addresses in the last 24 hours. This was this morning, 4:39 a.m., June 18th. In the last 24 hours, 12,700 Bitcoin sent to accumulation addresses. So it's not just that graph over a period of time. We're also seeing $840 million worth of Bitcoin in the last day. While the market, let's go down to the 5-minute. While the market's crashing. Well, let's go back out to the daily. It's just consolidating, baby. Still within this inverted head and shoulders pattern. And think about this. We have an inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. We have an inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. We have an inverted head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. And now we have this larger, this is the bulls imbuing into multiple time frames over this entire period. We want to go higher. And the bear's inability to take it down. Now, again, the invalidation for me on this is two things. If we measure this, Option F, click on the chart. If you're on PC, it's Alt F. And currently, look, we're just down here, just below the 382, coming all the way down roughly to about this golden pocket here from this full move. Getting down below, I would say, because this is angled at a slight angle, getting down below this 786 would start to be an invalidation of this larger inverted head and shoulders. Because you're not going to have the right shoulder here be deeper than where the head is, because that's no longer inverted head and shoulders, right? But if that were to take place, then you still have one more saving grace here. If that were to take place, let's go ahead and make this a little brighter. make this a little bit brighter. If that were to take place and the price action does come down in here, then now you have basically a giant megaphone, a giant falling, broadening wedge, which still has upside breakout, higher upside breakout probabilities. But we don't need to look at that right now. I do think we're at a place in the market that there's might be something that feels a little out of context and really shocks the market. There's a lot of things on the table right now, but we also have the things coming up with, the bit. I don't want to say it because I got demonetized yesterday for saying something about the discussion between two figures in the administration, but that's coming up. I think it's June 27th or something like that. But then there's so much bullishness right now. Do not get shaken out because we're seeing a little bit of that pullback. Now we can also see, I got one more thing here. The altcoin portfolio. Am I worried? No. I have other portfolios. This particular portfolio, I've been building alongside all of you I'm not trading this portfolio. I started February 7th, building a position based on the total 3. Showing that you don't have to trade every single move. You can look at the total 3. Let's go on the 3-day. And we're looking at this move right here, this giant bull flag right here. So we have this move and then another one right here. And we traded the breakout, but we took positions based on the breakout of this zone for the total altcoin market cap. Simplified it. And we were taking positions on February 7th, which was right here on the confirmed breakout. And we're just building positions that we're going to be holding into the market cycle top, which could be later this year. It could be sometime middle of next year. We're going to have to track these things on a daily basis. So does this bother me? This has gone down? No. This means, okay, I'm still sitting on my hands, still, allowing this to, I took positions in things I care about and made some changes, traded out of some different coins. But for the most part, this is all just, I'm stacking into these positions. So what do we do right now? Well, we lost this line. The price action is coming down, but now we're setting up for the opposite of what we saw here with an increased aggregated premium as well as open interest. Now this is flipped, similar to when this came down here. You see now you have the negative aggregated premium showing everybody is going short. This is happening again. In fact, this is deeper. See this level all the way right here? If we really zoom in on that, this is now getting almost deeper than this point right here, showing we're having a lot more short interest, setting up for that. It's not going to happen immediately, but it's setting up for that move. I think this week there's a lot of different talks and FOMC data and the economic data. So sometimes you just got to be patient. And we can see right here that the price action came out, flushed out a little bit of that liquidation zones. And then look, boom, came down, double bottomed here with this W formation, cleared out this liquidity. And then as this moved up, people started aping in again. How do I know? Because we see these liquidation zones getting very hot after this moves up. And then as it drops a little further, people add and add and add and add all the way to the point. Let me move this right here. All the way to the point where now we see the price action dipping all the way back into this, faking back out to the upside, getting one more little run to the downside. But now you see we're kind of clearing out a lot of this zone. It's getting a lot lighter here, meaning that there's not as much liquidity interest to the downside. In addition to that, if we come up here and we look at the liquidation levels, we can see that delta is starting to change around a little bit. Remember yesterday when this was like minus 13, it was right here. It was minus 13 or something, and then it flipped. That windshield wiper method, liquidation came down here, flushed that out. Then the windshield wiper came up here, cleared the liquidity to the upside into this zone. And now it's back down. It's just shaking your ass off if you're not looking on a longer time frame. And now as this has moved down, look, this gave us the impulse for the upside. We're deeper now, and there's a lot more liquidity above us. So we're setting up for beautifulness. MVRV Z-score. The MVRV score here shows that we're still very, very low, not really anywhere near an overheated zone. We can also see right here the the ETF tracker. We're getting a little bit of outflows right now, but this is not the end of the world. The market is setting up for opportunity. So let's go ahead and look at what that opportunity is. Everybody, as you sitting here right now, we got 250 people in the room. If you haven't yet, look right down below this video, hit that like button. If it doesn't say subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. We got one of the best communities here in the crypto ecosystem, tools, resources, positive community. We don't do all the trolls, and no, this is a place for all of us to grow together. I learn from you. You learn from me. We can rise all of our chips together. Are you doing a 10K to 100K challenge? No, we could do that. We could do that for sure. I'm looking for, yeah, we could do that for sure. But we're doing a lot of stuff in here in the BitLab Discord as well for those of you that want to get involved with what we're doing there. But we got, so many different things going on in this market. Where is it? Gym calls, chats, alt and spot trades. Get in our Discord. We got some magic going on in there. Now let's go ahead and talk about it. We talked about Bitcoin. Let's get a little bit deeper view on what's going on here. So we see this level. The next level down is this 63K mark. We got money flow still positive here on the 3-day chart, but what's it looking like when we get a little bit smaller? We're slicing through this zone. Let's turn on the BitLab volume. Let's look for some some order blocks. All right, so this is looking like it's trying to sweep low, but look at all this bearishness on the different oscillators. RSI, the stochastic is rolled over, angled to the downside. RSI looks like it's trying to hold here. If the RSI can hold here, start moving back up, this may be a signal that this may be rolling back over to the upside. But as it stands right now, negative money flow, and this VWAP is angled to the downside. So let's get a little bit more clarity. Let's look at this. Yeah, look at this. Rejecting at the dynamic resistance zone, trend signal line, boom. Comes back up into the weekly VWAP, boom. Fake out, up, look, right to the trend signal line, down. So let's get a little bit more clarity. Let's get down to the 2-hour actually. See, this is looking fairly weak here, and negative money flow, stochastics down, RSI down. I think there's a pretty good possibility that we could have a wick that sweeps down into the zone, but I have this sort of bullish sense. I won't call it a bias, but I have a bullish sense that this is trying to trap people to the downside. I'm prepared for this move or for a reversal, basically rounding out here, a little bit of consolidation, and then a move up in through this week. Because see, on the 1-hour chart, we move down, bullish attempt up, back down. We got a basically spinning top doji candle right here. And then it's going to kind of depend on this, especially on this 1-hour candle. If this starts continuing to break down and doesn't suck back up, if this sucks back up to where it is right here with the small candle body, then this could be indicating that sort of attempt to make that move to the upside. If this does move down to basically where these candle wicks are, like Piano Matty B says, where it wicks, it'll likely candlestick. I mean, look here, wick, and what do we see? Candlestick comes right down to it. But I don't want to say convinced. I have a high degree of speculation here that we are actually in for a bear trap on this move to the downside, flushing of that liquidity. And this is that level that I'm watching, is down here into this 63K mark. Because look, we have the order block from back here, 63 to 64.5, which is right in this zone, which would be a great area for Bitcoin to reverse. But when we look at Ethereum, let's go ahead and delete some of these lines because we've been doing a lot of TA over the last couple of days. Clean it up a little bit. This downtrend, this has broken above. And look at this. Came back down, tried to test it, washed out to the downside. And we're just kind of hugging it right now with kind of a lack of conviction. We have the ETF, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be around July 2nd. But that also could get changed. And that, Sparrowhawk said, no, it's creeping down. Well, you know what? We got to look at this. We got to look at this on a daily basis, because this is that ultimate sort of decision mode about what's going to happen for your portfolio in the future. If you're selling here only to have it rebound, and then as it pushes up, this is what usually happens. As it pushes up, because they sold at a loss, when it pushes up, they're reluctant to buy because they don't want to buy higher than they just sold. They want it to come back down only for the price to absolutely continue on from there. So you got to be very patient with how you are engaging and interacting with this. Let me see where now at network scenes. I don't know where. There's one of my windows disappeared. I don't know where it went, but it's all good. One of my control windows for the stream. But this is, yeah, downtrend right here. But what do we see? We have a bearish attempt down, back up. Bearish attempt down. See the difference between this low and this low? A lot of momentum. See the difference between this one and this one? Not as much momentum. Another attempt to the upside. And look, this is starting to get a bit of a flat. So there is opportunity here. Because even between this zone, see this level and the momentum wave down here, and then this level much lower, and then what do we get? In those same two zones, it's a bit of almost bullish divergence there with those two levels from here to here. And then what do we get? We got a slowing down of the bearish momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised if this held this zone and then started working its way back up. ETH to Bitcoin chart we got to pay attention to, because this has been, we had this multi-year low that we had broken quite, it's been a minute now, but we came back up and rejected at it and came back down. So is this a deviation, or is this a sign of something further to the downside? I would argue it's likely a deviation, but we can't ignore the fact that the Bitcoin ETFs may see an exponential more large amount of capital coming into it than the ETH ETF. And if that's the case, then that would suggest that the Bitcoin dominance is going to actually break higher and not reject where it's at right now, which also could have some pressure on the altcoins. So we need to pay attention to this right here, because currently we basically have this sort of, I won't call it a diamond pattern yet, but it's almost this, diamond pattern. If the price action can sort of consolidate into the zone and break out to the upside, this may be a bit of a reversal, but this is a bit of a stretch, because currently we are below a multi-year trend line on the ETH to Bitcoin pairing. We really like to see this inch its way back up and take back out this trend line. Because look at this. This goes back to December 2016. That is a long time ago. You can't see the bottom of that chart, can you? But let's move on. Link on the 3-day. Look at this breakdown, 500 and something day consolidation, and then breakout to the upside. And we are just flirting with this zone that was a support. Look, resistance, support, fake out, support. Now move to the upside. If we lose this level, where do we go? The area I'd be looking at is down here into the 1082 sort of range, which is where this consolidation was. And if we lose that down here in the 932, I think Link is one of the absolutely most underrated coins in the market. With how much it's going to be utilized for with the Swift integrations and Securitize and real world asset tokenizations and Oracle data networks pulling and bridging Web 2 to Web 3, as well as interoperability of information, and how many integrations this has across nearly every asset in the crypto ecosystem. So this doesn't bother me. This makes me say, glory, glory, hallelujah. If this goes lower, I can ape in with better prices before this absolutely moons. Near taking that spill. We had that rising wedge, came down. It said if it lost this, it was going to go to here. And if it lost there, it was like going to test into this order block range. And look at that. It's cleared this entire order block range. When you see a candle like this, I think Tino calls something like this, and it has to do with volume and other things as well, but vector candles. When things move very quickly with no interaction with price levels along the way, a lot of times you want to basically flush out that area. We kind of did it right here, but now we're doing it again right here. If we lose this level, this actually marks a little bit of weakness that we already basically chopped through here and back up. The fact that we've come back through here, if we lose this level on near, and I think again, near is still one of my favorite projects for this bull run. The next level I'm watching for is essentially a trap down here to $4.03. And if we lose that, coming all the way down here to 328. Now, why is that? Because we have this rejection point here, as well as this chop zone right in here and this support right here. So if we lose this potential bear trap here, meaning it's not a bear trap if we lose this level, then coming down and getting an opportunity back at 331. Now think about this. Near, what's my entry point? 329. So does this mean I'm going to lose all those gains I had? Yes. If I'm looking at it in that way, when I'm thinking about, man, I really like this for this bull trend, then this would suggest that I now have the ability to buy in under the price point that I got at, basically right at it, 320, 332, 320. I'm able to still add without super high prices. So I'm actually cheering for this, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I think it's, again, I'm still in the mind frame that we're more trappy than, meaning more likely to have some consolidation to move up than move down. I just feel like the market is fear mongering the masses. Now, ONDO, one of my other favorite coins out there. Look at this nice trend line we have here. And what did we talk about a couple days ago? We talked about this head and shoulders, which are reversal patterns, head and shoulders. And what was the target on that? We drew it out. Look at this. The target on this was from the top of this line. We can actually bring it down just a touch. The target on that would be measured just like this. Now, we didn't get all the way down to it, but we made a pretty good headway down. But you have to realize it's about to reverse to go back up. If you're looking at just the pattern itself, if you're looking at just the candles, this is basically a bear pennant. See this flag? Flag right there. And I'm not going to do all the way to the wick. We'll do the mostly candle bodies. Now look at the target out of that. Basically this is indicating that there's a likelihood that this continues down, that almost fulfills this larger head and shoulders target to the downside. And this also, remember, we have this huge order block here on the BitLab trading stack that automatically shows you where there's a huge liquidity interest entering order books from large players, right? And so if this does break down, I'm looking for a potential sweep into this zone. It may not get all the way down to this target because we have all these tops here, this top here, this top here. So again, I'm looking for a little bit more of a trap situation if this does flush back out to then resolve back to the upside. Injective. Look at this. Large multi-month. Multi all the way back to November. Support. Now we lost it. Where'd it go? Look, we came right down into the order block. It told you all the way back here that if price action shows an indication of coming back, this is going to be an area of interest. If we lose this level, the next area of interest is right here, 1630, 1670, this zone right here. And this was also showing you we had a rising wedge that was part of this larger support base, indicating a likely move to the downside. However, stochastics are trying to push up, but RSI is angled down. You have a divergence of where strength is going, which indicates in a bullish term, if you have a divergence between your quicker moving stuff like stochastics and your RSI is pointing the opposite direction, meaning strength is coming out, that's going to lead to a lack of conviction for bulls, which therefore would lead to higher narrative possibility for bears. In this case right here, if we can consolidate in here above this 1881 sort of level, if we can consolidate above this zone, then we could talk about moving up. But then we need to contend with this large sort of support line here, right about where this order block is, $22.89 to $23. Avalanche. We talked about this yesterday. Remember? We are talking about the price action potentially. Everybody, I think it was, I can't remember who asked, but potential move down into this zone, the 24. We called it all the way down here to 23, but I said, based on this zone that we marked out, we have to pay attention to where liquidity interest is. Liquidity interest shows all this huge order block here. And I said, if we lose this zone, we're watching for 27 potential bounce. What we get? Look at this, bounce right at 27. And then the next level down, which would be probably a pretty good buy, would be down here in this $24 to $25 range. And this is exactly where boom, came right into the zone. And now we may be setting up for a potential support here. We see the momentum has rolled over, but we had a lot of concerted selling pressure, which is why these bars are red here on the BitLab Trend Fuel. It shows that not only the momentum was down, but there was a lot of selling, more than normal. We can also see here on the BitLab Intelligence, right here, we see a lot of selling, stopping volume. And then we got the trend shift right here. And what do we get? The momentum also rolled over and the huge amount of selling slowed down. And what do we get? We also see that the stochastics kind of bottoming roughly about the level they did before. And the RSI is just waiting for that jolt. And look at this VWAP angled up. But we have all the way for AVAX, all the way up to $28 and beyond before we can confirm some bullishness here, because we see regularly, see the price action coming into the yellow weekly VWAP, yellow weekly VWAP, yellow weekly VWAP. This could rebound all the way into here and get rejected, set another base, and then move up, which would be that double bottom that we're looking at. So you don't want to just ape into this leverage and then hold without taking any profits or changing your stop loss at a minimum if price action comes into this, because there's a strong possibility we do get another basically rejection test, set a higher low, and then continue to the upside. Render also downtrend. Look at this. Boom. Came up, gave you the bearish signal. Look at this. Tried to push up, 4 bearish divergences. Tried to push up. Where? Right into the weekly VWAP. Down. Right into the weekly VWAP. Down. Where to? This was working its way down to the liquidity. Boom. All these zones. So there is indication here, I would say, because of this and because of all the support in here, support here, support here, support here, and now testing back into this. If we do lose this, it would suggest that you might be getting priced down here at 527. But I'm more inclined to think that based on narratives in this market, that that this would likely consolidate here, potentially even consolidate sideways, bringing the weekly VWAP down and basically testing right up back here about 777, chopping in the zone and then moving to the upside. But as it stands right now is a cautionary tale about what's going on in the market. So remember, all your buying and trading and selling, most of your crypto should be stored somewhere else. Also reducing your likelihood of trading if it's not on exchange. Now you can, for instance, channel sponsor here, getarculus.com. Special shout out to them. You can trade, swap, store, best crypto cold storage solution out there. It's the same company, the same person that has all of the patents for these chipsets in your cards with the RFI, the NFC tap, never been hacked. They basically, one of the guys that got the patent said, you know what? We should make a cold storage wallet out of this. And your assets are not stored on that card. That card is just a security key to access the wallet that then accesses also, excuse me, the actual wallet that you have on chain. But 3-factor authentication, biometrics, PIN, and the device. Best crypto cold storage out there. Use code LAB10. That's LAB10 for 10% off. And again, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. I really want you all to do well in this market. I really want to just incentivize, encourage you, get involved in the BitLab Academy Discord. We got the code there at lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. In the top of the live chat, it says BitLab free trial. It's 15 days free, and then it's 33 or 34% off of the full price for the life of your account after that free trial. Cancel anytime. Get in there. Get involved with our member streams. We did a member stream last week with Kevin Svensson himself. We got Joshua Jake in there, myself. We got John Dalton, pro trader, Corduroy, another pro trader. We're all sharing a number of different, see? Talking about it right now, talking about exactly what everybody's doing, setups. I'm sharing breakdowns, on-chain data, all the things in here. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I want you to win in this market. And if at minimum, tune in on a daily basis. I try to make sure I bring you unbiased tools, resources, and looks on this market because I want you all to win. The more of you all win, the more all of us win. That's what I'm here for. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. That's all I got. Adios. Everybody, we're going to head over to the DGen Den right now. So stay on this channel right now until it ends. It will automatically send you over to DGen. Everybody hop in there, drop some lab coats. That's all I got. Over and out. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos.